Hey everyone, PKFT1 here, and I know it's been a while, but I want to talk about this Like a Dragon Yakuza show announced for Amazon Prime just a few days ago. I'm sure you guys have heard about it if you're watching this. And I just kind of want to talk about some of the news, talk about some of the people who are involved, and then speculate a little bit about what we can expect from this show, because there's a lot of bits of information all over the place, so I kind of wanted to break down some interesting bits and details. So let's start with this press release from Amazon, which is talking about the show. Of course, they say it's coming out October 25th, and we know the show is going to be an original story. However, it's going to be loosely based on the first game, from what we understand. It's going to span across two time periods, 95 to 2005, which we know is when the first game takes place. It says that it's an original crime suspense action series, follows the life of childhood friends, and repercussions of the decisions of Kazuma Kiryu, a fearsome and peerless Yakuza warrior with a strong sense of justice, duty, and humanity. So even if it is an original story, like it's been described, there's no way it can stray too far from the original game if it's going to take place between 95 and 2005. You have to have the death of Dojima, you have to have Kiryu take the fall, you have to have Kiryu go to prison. So it'll be interesting to see how they depict that. They're talking about childhood friends, so we know Nishiki is going to be involved. As we read further, the actor for Kiryu, named Ryoma Takeuchi, who's primarily known for, I think, playing Kamen Rider in Japan, I'm not sure how old he is. He does seem kind of young for the role. That being said, Kiryu is supposed to be fairly young in 95. I think he's supposed to be in his late 20s in 95. So that's probably around the age of this guy. However, there's going to be that 10-year gap. Can he conceivably play like a 37, 38-year-old, however old Kiryu is in Yakuza 1? I'm not sure how they're going to do that time skip and make it look like he's realistically that much older. It'll be interesting. I don't actually think there's a problem with the actor. He's pretty tall. I think they said he's 6'1", so he should be able to have the stature of someone like Kiryu. So it'll be interesting to see how they stage scenes with him, considering the average Japanese guy probably isn't around 6'1", so it'll be really interesting to see. That being said, he says, I am truly honored to be given the opportunity to play the role of Kazuma Kiryu, a beloved character, and the game series. I strongly felt that I was willing to put my life on the line. Audiences will enjoy the show's human drama and conflict that unfolds around Kazuma Kiryu. Moreover, please take a look at Kiryu's intense fighting scenes and the dragon tattoo on his back, which we can see in the key art, which is about all we've gotten so far aside from this press release. There really hasn't been much information. That being said, there is a director who is attached. There's actually two directors. One of them is Masaharu Take, who is primarily known for quite a few productions. His most recent being We Make Antiques, which is, I think, a comedy. I'll put some visuals from that show up on the screen so you can kind of get an idea of what his directing style looks like. This is where it kind of gets interesting. So this show is going to be a collaboration between an American production studio and a Japanese production studio, with the American producers being primarily part, I think, of that 1212 Studios. They were known for doing that Scary Movies to Tell in the Dark movie. But some of the guys involved, I think one of the writers, his name is Sean Crouch. Now, there is a main screenplay, which is going to be done by this guy, Sean Crouch, and Yugo Nakamura, which I couldn't find much on. Sean Crouch, however, for an American producer, he actually has a lot of stuff under his belt. Some of the notable works have been The 100, The Exorcist TV series, which I think was generally well received. Anyhow, so this guy is working on the screenplay. However, there's also Japanese writers who are involved as well, so I wouldn't be too worried about the Americanisms making their way too deep. I would imagine he's probably working on the English version of the screenplay because there is going to be a dub. and maybe the overall story. Yokoyama of RGG Studio is also involved because he says quite a few things here. Since the first day I put pen to paper on the original Yakuza script, I've never once thought about revisiting any of my work on the series. It's because I understand all too well the challenges and hardships that come with remaking a finished title. However, if I were ever sent to the past through some kind of cosmic joke, this is the experience I'd want to create. If I had to go through the ringer anyhow, I'd want to make the most engaging versions of Kamurocho and Kazuma Kiryu as I could. And this show has it all. There is no question that Prime Video's Like a Dragon Yakuza will become another landmark release for the Like a Dragon series. While the games let you experience their world through subjective lens, this adaptation will be ultimately the objective way to enjoy the show. I have no doubt that fans of the series will be drawn into how it brings the games to life and adds new surprises. Newcomers, I'm sure, will find themselves invested simply in the gritty realism of the show. If anything, I'd love to watch this version alongside audiences all around the world, experiencing all of its intensity and soaking in every single second. So it seems like Yokoyama is pretty confident about this show. Of course, he's doing PR, so what else could you really expect from them? But it has his stamp of approval, which I think is important for anybody who might be worried about this show. I honestly am not too worried about it, simply for the fact that the Yakuza games are often described as like men's soap operas already. So I think this is a show, because of its realism, this kind of subculture of Yakuza film, there's already a pretty thoroughly explored genre and aesthetic that comes with these types of movies and TV shows. So I think as long as they stick to that, I mean, you look back at the Takeshi Miike movie from, 2007? And I actually think visually that movie does a pretty good job with making it feel like Kamurocho and the world of the games. I mean, you have Poppo in there even. As goofy as that movie is, I think it strikes a good tone, and if they can do something like that that's a little more cohesive, it could work. So I'm not really that worried about how the show is going to look. That being said, there is some interesting room to play with here. As we know, it's supposed to be an original show, loosely based on the first game. What does that mean exactly? I'm not sure. But let's take a look at one more thing before we finish up here. And that is this leak from, I want to say, over a year ago now. And this was a leak from a shoot that they were doing somewhere in a nightclub in Roppongi, Tokyo, where they saw Ryoma Takeuchi, who is, of course, we know confirmed to be playing Kiryu. And then we have these two other actors, one who is rumored to be playing Nishiki, and then we have this other actor, Munetaka Aoki, who we don't know who he's playing, but we know that he was on set during the shoot. A lot of people have been claiming they think he's probably going to be Majima, but because this was a shoot in a nightclub, I would assume they're supposed to be at Stardust, and I actually think this guy looks a lot more like a Yuya than a Majima. So I guess we'll see. It could really be anyone. Who knows? Maybe he won't even be in the show. But from what we understand, this guy was on set. So that is my bet, is that guy is Yuya. Although I don't know if Kiryu and Nishiki were ever together in Stardust, and they could be in any nightclub. But that is my guess. But I think this is interesting because it confirms a lot of these things, including those involved, like the producers and the studios that are involved. It says here that it's supposed to be a Yakuza Kiwami show and that it's going to be 8 60-minute episodes, but we know at least that last bit is incorrect because according to the press release, this is going to be a 6-episode series. However, the interesting thing is they're going to release them in 2 batches. One batch will be released on October 25th, and then the next batch will be released the following Friday on, I think, November 1st. And so we're going to get these 2 batches. Now, if it's between 95 and 2005, are 3 of the episodes going to take place in 95? 3 of the episodes going to take place in 2005? Hard to say. Is it going to have Haruka involved? Is this going to be kind of like a prequel to the first game? I don't know. It's hard to say right now, but I think there is a lot of room to play with. I would imagine it's going to try to follow the first game. I don't know what else you would do with that time period. I do think it's kind of interesting to speculate about all of these things, though, and I would hope that we get to see a lot of these characters. Now, I do think the casting, I'm not really bothered by it. You're going to have to use younger guys anyhow if you're going to have them play these characters long term, assuming this show is successful. And I'm really excited to see who else they cast, what characters could possibly make an appearance. It'll be really interesting who they have play Kazuma. Of course, with the Yakuza series, I mean, there are often times where actual actors make an appearance. Are we going to have cameos from some Yakuza 0 characters given the time period? Maybe some of them are going to carry over. Who are they going to have play the patriarchs? I mean, when you get to Yakuza 2, you're going to have to play with more and more iconic characters. So I think a lot is riding on this TV show. It's all part of Sega's transmedia initiative that they've really kicked into gear since the Sonic movies came out. So I think you're only going to see more stuff from Sega come out. In fact, I think we had Midori, who of course is a leaker, confirm that this is part of that initiative. So you guys should tell me what you think. Is there anything you want to see happen in this show? I'm really interested to see how this show plays out. I think if I had to speculate when we're going to get information, I would guess that we're going to get information probably after Summer Games Fest. I think we'll probably get some sort of RGG Direct announced fairly soon. They usually try to do them biannually. I'm not sure. I think we'll get one for this summer, an RGG Direct, and I would assume we see our first trailer there, because this thing's coming out in October. That's not really that far from now. So I would assume we're going to have to get a trailer fairly soon, and I'm sure it's far enough in production that they have something ready to go. If they don't have a game to announce, this could easily be the focus for the next few months, and I think people are excited about it. From what I've seen, most people are pretty interested to see what this ends up becoming. I haven't seen that much negative feedback. That being said, we haven't actually seen anything of this show yet, so I guess we should reserve judgment until then. However, I think this key art here looks pretty good. I think, at least from behind, he looks great as Kiryu. Is it going to translate perfectly on screen? I don't know. Kiryu's such an iconic character. He has an iconic look and he has an iconic voice. How do you nail that? Obviously, they're going to have to do their own spin on it. But I think so far I'm pretty interested. I don't really have any red flags to raise currently. And again, I don't think this is like something that is impossible to adapt to screen, considering the fact that it's all based in reality. So as goofy as the show, as the games get, I think this could be pulled off as a TV show fairly easily. So I'm very excited to see where this goes. And again, you guys leave down in the comments below for me what you think. Do you have any thoughts or concerns about this show? Are you going to be watching it day one? I'm thinking I might do some sort of watch party. This should be a pretty exciting release. So that's all I have to say for now, guys, but I will keep you posted as we get more information. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys again later.